And we are back here once again with another episode of the Cloud9 podcast, season 9, episode 12. And I actually did not plan on doing another episode of this show so soon. You know, usually we just do the show once a week on Sunday, 5:30 or 6 PST, actually. But today, there was some really huge announcements that came out concerning the LoL esports side of things, particularly around the LCS. Now, yesterday, we talked about this thing potentially happening. We had veteran who used to be a former head coach of H2K. During the EULCS 2018 spring split, has been more into the ERL scene at this certain moment in time for these many years, right? And he put out this tweet that he heard from a bunch of rumors from some credible people in the scene that the LCS was beginning to downsize. Now, before we go over like all the drama that ended up unfolding today, I'm joined here by my constant co-host, Mr. Blanks. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, this shit's crazy. This is wild. I'm not surprised, but I'm also surprised. Like that
That
it just snowballs so quickly. In a
And
sense.
you know what's super crazy about today was seeing all these fake Golden Guardians fans come on, be like, "Oh yeah, we always love Golden Guardians," as these people weren't just memeing the literal fuck out of them for going to a Worlds qualifying series and getting absolutely turbo fisted in those games. You know, it's time to start going over a lot of this stuff now. So the LCS in general has been in this weird esports bubble where there was a lot of venture capitalists that came into the scene a while ago, pre-franchising back in the 2017 League of Legends offseason. That is when we first heard that Riot wanted to bring out franchising, because of the unsustainability of having like rotating teams out. Because before this happened, you got to factor in if there was still 10 teams in the league, but the final two spots would have to fight in the promotion relegation tournament. Now, whether or not people agree or disagree on whether they should bring that system back or whether it really was something that could have fostered more competitive nature regarding the LCS is not going to be the focal point of this episode, but to rather go over the other problems that came with franchising, because what a lot of people just really fail to understand is esport teams really don't generate that much revenue. I mean, someone like even Travis Gafford has even mentioned that, you can't really make a whole lot of money doing this. And there was this period and point in time where like a lot of people started investing into the scene, hoping to get this like 10x return on their investment, only for that really not to have happened. And we knew that Riot wanted to franchise and that the teams wanted to be a part of franchising. They applied for it. Some got in, some didn't. The teams that initially didn't get in later on got in at a single point in time. But there's been so much that has happened. I mean, it's really hard to explain to everybody, and it's really hard to just go down this rabbit hole, because the problem here is that it's not just one thing that really has made this what it is. It's many things that have made this what it is. And given the current situation that we're going to talk about today, I'll just tell you guys right now, I am not surprised. Yo, what's up, man? How are you doing? Yeah, doing great, man. Ready to just, talk about some League of Legends issues going on in the scene for the LCS. And you just got back home. Awesome, man. Glad you got home safe and sound, brother. Hope you were doing your thing out there in Brazil, clapping people, playing Pokemon. So I'll ask you, man, are you surprised that Evil Geniuses and Golden Guardians are out of the LCS, actually? Because when you're looking at all that's happened today, there's some really missed context with a lot of people, and we're going to go over in Travis's video, where basically the idea is, did Riot ask them to leave, or were they forced to leave? That's two different things, actually, you know? So I'll ask you. Golden Guardians, as you know, had their best year in 2023.
Yeah.
Not even close, right? As an org. It was so crazy to watch these fake fans come out and claim they were always good.
Fake fans? Were they fake
I wouldn't
fans?
say they were fans in general. I would just say
I mean, but the
in
thing
general.
is, you're not a fan of the NFT. How would you know if they're a fan? That's the thing. It's like that's the thing.
Because Golden Guardians have been clowned on as a perennial bottom team for forever, actually. Like, perennially really bad, you know? Now, do I doubt that they had some fans here and there? Probably. I don't doubt it. But to see people just come out of the woodwork and act like this has been some legacy org that has done well in the league is just so disgustingly disingenuous. They just got good this year. And then you had that previous stint where they had FBI closer, DeMonte, and Huhi and Hanser. Remember that one? Yeah. But that only happened in a short pocket of time. So outside of the Hanser, closer, DeMonte, FBI, and Huhi roster that almost knocked out TSM from going to Worlds in 2020, and then just this year, I mean, Golden Guardians have been perennially either like 10th or 9th place. Remember last year when you first started watching, they went 5-13 in summer. Remember, people are factoring they just became somewhat of a relative contender. This was the first year they got past 9 wins in the regular season. You know? Then, just about, a month ago, we saw them at World 2023, the qualifying series. They didn't even make it into the main event, and they got curb stomped, actually. You know? The only thing that I could ever, give them as credit is Anero's been able to do really good work with some roster building, given his shoestring budget. But you're gonna know about this a little bit more than me. So correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't the Warriors put a lot of their money into this NBA player, Jordan
Poole, and then they traded him, and then they traded him a year later.
So basically, they sacrificed a lot of their money on Jordan Poole. So people would know what that would mean. They don't have really money for their.
So it's not just him, though. See, the issue is it's not just.
Yeah, but people. Yeah, you're right. Because this is the other piece of context. Don't want to forget. People just forget. Golden Guardians, the Warriors have been doing a lot of really big investments in a lot of different players. You know,
Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Jordan Poole. They are still paying that off. Plus, and Andrew Wiggins. That's what at first I was like, Golden Guardians was a surprise. But then once I realized they were owned and funded by the Golden State Warriors, I was like, this makes sense now. You have to cut budgets on it, and cutting Golden Guardians that doesn't really, recoup that much money back. Plus,
if any at all,
Yeah. Plus, if you cut them, you're not really cutting much income. That's whatever you're doing. It's like, all right, cool. You do this, you do that. It's like, all right, cool. You're in this situation where, all right, we cut this. Now we save $5-6 million somewhere down the line. Yeah, I was surprised at first or two. I kept looking. I was like, no, this actually makes sense because you don't want, in my opinion, you don't want to have that liability of Golden Guardians not succeeding the way you want to. Plus, you are the Golden State Warriors. You won championships. You have a standard. And Golden Guardians really haven't hit that.
Don't forget, they barely were ever making playoffs too. So the very first year they came in 2018, they had a booty shit roster. We're talking dog vomit. This is what made Contracts' career such hell in the LCS after that. When he was really, really bad with this roster, then he got obviously thrown into, academy for a little bit after that. I mean, they made playoffs in spring, and after that, they failed to make playoffs in that summer. 2019, I don't remember exactly that much, but I remember them not making playoffs. I think they didn't make playoffs at all in 2019. From what I remember, correct me if I'm wrong. 2020 spring they did, but they got knocked out first round, obviously. And 2020 summer, they had that DeMonte FBI Hui roster that almost knocked out TSM. 2021, they sacked their entire year. They went and hired a motherfucker from Mexico and just collegiate players, not academy players, motherfuckers who can barely pay their college tuition on their professional LCS roster. Guess what happened, everyone? They finished 10th in the league, and they finished 10th in the actual LCS, actually. That's why I just don't understand why people thought they lost some sort of like good legacy org. What did you lose? They barely ever competed, if that. You know, they were just pretty bad for the most part. That's what I was confused at. Evil Geniuses, I understood it. You know, Nicole's just a piece of shit. You know, they've done some really bad things. Yep. That made a whole lot more sense. I was just so blown away that people were like, "Oh, we lost a really great competing org." Yeah, they just started doing that this year. And were they really ever competing, or is the LCS just all being shit, as you pointed out? You know, I don't know, actually. So what's really weird is that you bring it up is people factor in when a lot of some of these esport orgs like Golden Guardians, they were like attached to the brand of another popular entity, like the Warriors, right? Golden State. So if they're not producing any championships and they're just basically just throwing money to a money pit for something that really doesn't generate that much revenue outside of just sponsors, and even that can only go so far, and that's not really generating revenue. At that most, just breaking even, for being honest here. Why do you need to have them then? You know, like, what is the point of them? Because if they just made their first finals this year, guys, that means you're factoring in they've been in the league for 5 years and only made one final. Then they just get knocked out of the fucking They didn't even make the third place match during this year. Remember, they lost to Team Liquid?
Yeah.
They didn't make the third place match. They basically got us. They peaked as hard as they could. They got a lucky win against BLG because Elk just mispositioned, and that was it. They got clobbered by everybody else. Their year was pretty good if you're looking at it from just a Golden Guardians, perspective. But overall, I just don't get why people thought they actually lost a good org. Like, it'd be different. Like TSM, that would make more sense because long-lasting fan base. They drive in the most viewership. They've won titles consistently. Obviously they won one pre-franchising. Since franchising, TSM only had one title. But you see my point. You're not losing anything. You didn't really lose anything with them. They never really provided anything at all. Really, and to kind of find out if what I do not stick up for Riot. I hate a lot of their decisions about their fucking tournament format structure and a lot of things they've ever done. But if they really didn't want to be here, then no, you should leave. If you don't believe in the product, you should leave. Is that wrong? Right? Because why do you want to partner in your league that just doesn't want to be here? Then you can leave, honestly. So I'll ask you, man. What about Evil Geniuses? I'm pretty sure you saw that coming from a mile away initially. Because you said INT at first.
That one I was looking at more competition wise. I was like, okay, EG's in a bad shape too, but they're competitive. I was looking at it from like, okay, we're getting rid of two shit teams. But then I watched the video with Travis Gafford. I think what they did, they asked everybody. 8 teams says, "Yep, we're coming back," and 2 teams said no. And
at least that gives you some comforting thought that 100 Thieves wants to be in the league.
No, of course they want to be in the league.
They say they want to be in the league, but then, as you know, the roster they have, that kind of says otherwise. But and IMT do the same thing and dig the same way. What I think is going to happen is a lot of these rosters are just trying to get that that league minimum that they keep bringing up. So they basically want to run budget rosters, budget staff to get the LCS minimum to make profit or hope of achieving to make profit. Because we know right now, given the state of the LCS, I'd argue no one's really making profit here or even making money. Because as you guys, we know the difference. There's a difference between actually making money and actually inking out a profit. There's big differences there. I'd imagine that most of these guys are literally just breaking even, if not that. These are just spending a lot of money. And that's the thing, though, is Evil Geniuses. I couldn't have to go down all the L's they've been taking with Nicole. Did you see that thing I sent you?
Yeah.
Holy dude. It like we said before, Nicole was only really hired off surface level attributes. That's it.
Yeah.
So she's black. She knows nothing about being a CEO. She knows nothing about running a company.
I
As
would
we
say
know
more.
now,
I would say more her being a woman than her being
no,
black.
it's fine. She was hired off of her gender and her attributes of being black. That's it. She doesn't want to be CEO. She tanked the entire org out of the LCS. I don't know if Evil Geniuses will be an org come the end of next year potentially. Remember they eviscerated their Dota team. They even moved them to Brazil so they could have cheaper operating costs. That failed. They've failed. They didn't fail in CS:GO. That's what I did when I was talking to women back in the day. They didn't fail in CS:GO. That shit is burnt to the ground. They completely failed in CS:GO. They eviscerated their League of Legends reputation with the whole Danny situation. Remember that? That's terrible. I mean, no one's gonna forgive them because no one even want to be their fan after that Danny situation. So Dota's fucked, CS:GO's fucked, their League of Legends reputation is fucked. No one likes them. They've made terrible decisions. Even just this year, remember they had that competing roster.
Yep.
Then Nicole goes into that meeting, tanks all their fucking options of being free agents if she didn't want to keep the roster, and she tanks all those opportunities for those players to get teams. Luckily, some of them did actually, or she basically did it at a point where they would have to pay them an exuberant amount of money just to get them out of the contract. So she fucked that over. Then she brought this dog shit roster over of Revenge and Mayonnaise and whatever the fuck the bot lane was, whatever that appeared to be. Like now, and when people start thinking about all this stuff, you kind of wonder why they're gone. I mean, Golden Guardians, literally, like I mentioned before, they've only ever been, I'll say good in quotations, good for LCS standards just this year. For a full year. Not that brief stint they had in 2020 LCS summer. Not that. Just this year, So we're going to go over Travis's video, but yeah, man, it's crazy out here. I told people the league doesn't make they need to have a lot of harsh discussions surrounding the league. I've been saying this stuff for years. I've been on these shows and I said it all for years. This stuff is a financial money pit. The viewership is bad for the LCS. There's they can't really make money off these teams because these teams themselves are very bad at social media, content creation. There's no narrative surrounding this stuff. They play in the LCS is bad. Do you know what's crazy, dude? I know people rag on Reginald. But keep in mind, Reginald said that all the problems with the LCS, and to be fair, he's an idiot himself, but he wasn't wrong about the LCS issues, though. Even Reginald, the guy with TSM, one of the biggest fan bases in esports, might be one of the few profitable esports orgs, maybe before they had that crypto deal. I'd argue they're probably maybe profitable. After that crypto deal, oh no, they struggling out here, Even he mentioned all the problems with the LCS, and people were like, "Oh, it's Reginald, go shut the fuck up." But it's like, hey, I don't like him either that much, but he did detail a lot of the problems here. So were you like, so what do you think's gonna happen for the LCS? I know people have been talking about the big problems with having 8 teams. I will also say this: since people have been really, really complaining that we have a lot of like really bad teams. When you have less teams, you do have the reduced chances of having bad matches, but that really is just depending on how well the rosters are built, Because I think Arnold from Gen G brought this up too. Yeah, there's way too many mouths to feed, and there probably should be 8 teams for some of these leagues. But the thing here is, just for the LCS, just in general, people have been ragging on all these really, really shit teams. Having 2 orgs that just want to be out is fine because let's be honest, they're able to build a shit, really bad rosters, and they're not really actually wanting to be here anyway. So, you gotta understand when it comes to like the LCS, there needs to be a lot of harsh talks about what we view as a legitimate, sustainable product, because there's more writing on the wall than ever that this is going to be something that people really should be paying attention to. Because, I'll be honest with you, I don't want to have a world where we can't do the show. I mean, we would still do the show, but probably just pivot to a different thing, right? But I love talking about League of Legends. I love talking about the LCS. I love watching League. I do. I've been watching League for many years, But this is a problem that happened too. Remember, yesterday we went over this in the show?
Yeah.
LPL English broadcast might be getting axed well, it will be axed, but hopefully there's hope it'll come back. And it's like, bro, what is going on? Korea is having some issues with, how to basically make it a sustainable business venture for the LCK. LCK, the most like watched League of Legends product in the world, is having their own big financial issues. I recommend people watch the episode with Arnold, who's Genji's CEO, and Monty and Wolf. It'll bring a lot of perspective onto that. Um, man, it's crazy out here, man. It's absolutely disgusting. Now, just imagine that someone just found out they lost their job and they probably potentially were living out there in LA. I do hope everyone in that situation that lost their job that they can get onto a team in some shiver capacity, because that's just really crazy,
Yeah.
And let's go over Travis's video. Do you think he did a? Do you think? Okay, because you know PRBS, right? Do you think this was some really? What do you think really contributed to this conversation to knock it down to 8 teams? Really?
Money plus competition plus a lot. I think what it was is they needed to at least knock 2 teams down to make it even, or they would have had to find one. Because
you can't have 9, because that's just not going to work in a sports league.
It can, because China got 17. But it's
I mean, some would argue they only really have 2 teams, but then again, I see.
No, China had 8 teams, and the other 9 are literally just just like were the NPCs. I swear to God.
Oh, like, no, you're right. Yeah,
there's like 3 teams that are just pure NPCs. That they only get wins against themselves and in one.
The only times they get wins is fighting up against like other really shit competition in their own league.
They might catch JDG sleeping one day. That's it. Because I'm telling you right now, none of those bottom tier teams will ever beat BLG again. It don't matter as long as BLG stays who they are.
Yeah.
With EG, you look at the whole situation. I think they were kind of, because I went back and looked at some of their financials. They were kind of fucked before the whole
because also to bring it up into the context of the situation that people don't know about. The people that own them are legitimately a venture capitalist firm, so it's just a bunch of people, for a lack of a better term, it's basically just a bunch of people just putting money into something that they could see 10x profit on in the future. It's kind of like the idea of it, right?
It's like a quick flip in their mind.
Yeah. You put basically just high profile salesmen. That's just all it is.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And I think the issue is
they don't see a 10 times X return in the EG. I think that's why they're getting rid of them.
The thing is too with EG. EG's always been so cheap. They really haven't gotten any expensive players. JoJo was cheap. Danny was cheap because they were coming from the academy. Like I don't know who were the first players in 2018, but they were probably cheap. They were cheap on an LCS standard. It was like they never really had a double lift or a Beergen or Jensen on their team. Jensen played on teams like that. Okay, who was their most high profile?
For Evil Geniuses, right?
Yeah, who was the most high profile?
Besides JoJo and Danny, that was trying to be. You had Impact, Inspired, and Vulcan. But before that, they came in 2020. They had Jizuke, Svenskeren, Kumo, Bang, who was on 100 TV before, who was SKT's ADC, and then Zazel. That was their first roster that they that they splashed money on. Then they pivoted to the Danny angle with Jizuke and Svenskeren / contracts. And
the cheaper players get people who are not as proven. That's when you don't have to pay them. And I see this all the time in companies. You go from hiring a high profile chef who's going to demand a high salary to a cook who's very good, but who might not require a higher salary, but still going to require good money, to us people who are just willing to take money because they're not from here. That happened my old job. Literally, I was the guy in the middle. I wasn't the high profile chef,
right?
Asking for 25, I was asking for 18. All right, cool. I got that, and then when they realized, oh, okay, he might be a good chef, he's worth way too much what we're willing to pay him. I was like, okay, let's get all these experienced people who are willing to do the same thing for cheaper, and then push him out. I'm like, okay, push out all the Negroes, put experienced people in, and then you get people who are fucking up. It's like,
it's really weird, man.
And that's the same thing, real quick. And that's the same thing with ED now. Now you went to the point where you got JoJo and Danny. The team's good. It's like they're young. That's why you got the other players who are experienced.
They could be your franchise players.
Could be. Yep, they got 2 Worlds that year, beat Team Liquid, and then beat think about it, a team that might have cost $1.5 million, beat a $6 million team. Like, that's crazy. And then about a year later, you're picking up scraps from other teams. You're picking up Ayla. You're picking up freaking Unforgiven, who was in the Challenger League. You're picking up a Revenge, who got dropped by the worst team in the league. And then you're picking up Armal, who people are still wondering how he's still playing League of Legends. It's like, with JoJo there, it's like, and you saw the deterioration. The deterioration happened before Danny's crying in the summer. That shit happened in the spring.
Do forget EG have Gamer Doc there. I mean, she's not known for being very good with the players, actually. I mean, this is stuff that's well known throughout. I mean, what's the guy's name? CSGO guy. Stewie?
Yeah.
Was it Stewie on Evil Genius's Counter-Strike team? I think it was. Yeah, he was. Yeah, I remember. He was. And he's been very open about problems with that org. Now, I agree with I Will Dominate on this too. He put the take out earlier, but I mean, this is stuff I've said in the past as well. I mean, this was his tweet. This is legitimately good for the health of the LCS. The bottom 2 teams provided almost nothing. The LCS, in terms of hype/viewership, most people mainly wanted to watch the first 4 matches of the day anyway, which is true. It's true. I think people. Yes, the 2 orgs that I'd argue it's 1. I don't think people really wanted EG anymore after that Danny situation, but I can get the point of view when people are like, I wanted Dig and IMT out. Because at least, Golden Guardians, they did have one good year where they ran something up together.
Yeah.
Dig hasn't even been in a 3rd place match since 2017. And even just that was their highest placing. A 3rd place match that they lost in 2017. The highest placing they've had in their league history here has been 4th. Most of the time they're like knocked out of playoffs first round or not even making playoffs. IMT's just been bad ever since. Yeah, they made playoffs in 2021 summer, but who gives a fuck? They got knocked out anyway. But losing the bracket, right? So I think the orgs that people wanted gone didn't leave, which caused this instant reaction of, oh, no, but EG, they did do good. Did they? They themselves had only 1 good year, because this year wasn't good from EG. Both EG and Golden Guardians really have only ever had 1 impressive year, for being honest here. 2022 for EG and 2023 for Golden Guardians. I really hate that people went oh my god, these orgs were great. Where? Yeah,
I mean, they were always somewhat competitive. More EG than Golden Guardians.
Oh, for
That's
sure.
The same.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You can look at they were always competitive. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were.
I can understand people's frustration with the orgs they wanted out not being out. I get it too. I think Dig and IMT are shit too. But if Dig and IMT want to be here, that should matter differently than people that don't want to be here. If you don't want to be here, then that's not a relationship you want to have with someone. They don't want to be there. You can't make them be there. And that's going to just cause resentment and all this stuff. And it's just buy them out of their contracts and let them leave. And I get it. I don't like IMT and Dig either. I think they're shit too. I fully agree with you guys. I 100% agree with you. I get your point of view. But they want to be here, though. I can't respect that. They want to be here and help support the LCS. And that, but they need to do better too. And I sound like a liberal, god damn it. They need to do better in terms of viewership, hype. They need to contribute a somewhat competitive roster. They need to contribute valuable, at least YouTube content. 100 Thieves had that. 100 Thieves came out kind of swinging in their first split, and they had really good content. You don't have to always be winning titles. No one ever said that. It takes a while for any org in any sport ever to win a title. But can you be doing something interesting to make me your fan while I'm just watching you almost win? 100 Thieves didn't win anything until 2021 summer. That they were the biggest content esport org in the world at a single point, you know? Yeah, so many things they were doing. That 100 Thieves YouTube channel blew up so big with the heist, the league content, all the people they were hiring, that content house Nate Shop was doing with Courage and Brooke and Valkyrie, all that stuff, you know? So I hate this thing where people say, oh, but what else can they do? Literally do what 100 Thieves did. Or attempt to, because there's no other way you can. What other way can they do? Can they attempt to get fans as an esport org? Well, you have to make content that is appealing to people, that makes them want to watch. If you're not going to be a team that's winning, you need to offer something much different. You could also just offer the content side. But then people keep saying, but they have no viewership. And I get it. You have to make money off of this. But to make money off of this, you're going to have to invest that time. You're going to have to put in some level of time and investment to make content that people are willing to watch, you know? But let's go over Travis's video. So here is the video, and, you know, you don't want it coming from some Pokemon account, but I love me some Wulo, though. You know, I like to take my shots whenever I can. You know, I like me some Wulo. All right, so here is Travis's video. Let me put the audio up here, and we'll obviously talk over it as the video's going on.
Well, we are here at the World Finals today in Korea with the stage behind us. I'm joined right now by John to talk about some unusual information, some unfortunate information for what is occurring here. Strange to talk about this on the finals day, but as everything's breaking and everything's hitting, we're going to talk about this and release it as news breaks. But John, can you talk a little bit about what is happening? Because obviously there's been some news out there about two teams potentially leaving the league.
Yeah, so yesterday we terminated our TPA agreement with two teams, Golden Guardians and Evil Geniuses, and settled with them. So they will not be competing in the LCS next year.
All right, and we should say yesterday as we're filming this.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So why did this end up happening?
Yeah, so basically, Golden Guardians, their owner, the Golden State Warriors, they've decided they want to focus their business on basketball, and they wanted to exit. And I think,
and we got to factor in from the owner's perspective, if this isn't generating a profit at all, he literally is just going to exit. I was surprised the dude let it go on this long. I was just surprised he let it go on this long, and it's weird. Also, he cut them when they had their best year overall. But then again, are you always gonna be predicting that Golden Guardians will always have good years too? Now, that's the thing too. With, you know, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying no with them. I don't think it was that. I think it came down to a financial thing. They looked at it like, even if
I think it was an instant no.
Like
from a guy who's that rich. Oh no, he needs some actual moolah. He needs piles of money.
I mean,
on his desk.
And the thing he got money too. That's mean he could have used this as a tax write-off. I don't think there was any interest for them to want to be in this anymore. Because with them, if
I don't think they want to be in esports anymore. Remember, dude, they got rid of Zane. Remember Zane, the Mark player in Melee? Yeah. He's gone. You know?
Well, see, with Zane, that's just one person that could, you know.
True, yeah.
I think with this is not just 5 players. 5 players.
I think they just want to be out of. Do you think they want to be out of esports in general, or they just want to be out of League of Legends because it's cost so much money to be here? Actually,
I think they wanted to be out of esports. I think their main thing is because let's just focus on the Golden State Warriors. That's the main thing, because when we have to divide in this thing into that jobs too, now you're cutting everybody that's connected to League of Legends, and then all right, cool. Now you're letting go the director of esports within the Golden State Warriors department, you know, because of course they have that. They have, you know, they had like some some creative director of esports, like the director of esports division. Pretty much, you got basketball, and then I think Joe Latham might. And then of course, he has the G League team he runs or they own. And then you have the esports. That's been all right, cool. Go to Guardians. Oh, they finally, won us, or they finally had the best season of the year. Yeah, it's not worth it. Right? We're gonna.
Yeah.
And the thing is too, a lot of times, like each year, the question gets asked, "Are you gonna keep your spot?" All right, yeah, all right, cool, boom. And with TSM, I think TSM already set their intention of leaving. I think with this one, it came back and EG was like, yeah, we might not. EG might not be gone forever. They might just be gone for this year. They might have to reconstruct a lot of shit. They might not be gone forever. Go to Guardians. They might be gone forever. This is one of those things where if the org that's running it doesn't want to fund it, you just move on. That's the sad part about it. But it's like, okay, it happens. It happens a lot more than people want to realize.
Yeah, this is something that people who just aren't people that understand the business side of it. If it's not making huge profits, or at least getting you closer to making huge profits, then what's the point of keeping it, though? You know, I'm just surprised he did it now. That's what I'm surprised about.
Yeah.
And it just so happened to be their quote unquote best year. You know, I always knew there was a good chance they would be out very, very soon, even when they first joined back in the day when I was thinking about them. Because remember, they're tied to a sports franchise. Remember, the sports franchise they're going to prioritize winning NBA championships, right? Dedicating their money to all their best, a roster of players that's going to net them a championship. And this is also the same thing that goes with Dignitas, I think they're funded by the 76ers, actually.
Yeah.
You know, FlyQuest is funded by Panthers, I think, in the NFL. So that's the thing, too, is people understand this is esports is especially the League of Legends is just a huge money dump. And I'll be honest here, people, even if they force them to be out or they ask them, does it really matter, honestly? Because they didn't want to be here to begin with. But I guess that changes the entire layer of the context, too, because if they force them to be out, that's different from them wanting to initially be out themselves. But I don't know how to go either way.
Evil Genius's struggles is pretty well documented in the public already. So yeah, we hustled over the last 2 weeks to terminate our TPA with them so that hopefully the players on those teams would find other homes in free agency.
So I think a lot of people are going to hear that and sort of, I don't know, be a little skeptical that something like that can happen given the way free agency works, so many verbal commitments. Obviously, this is well covered by many different journalists and out there in terms of what players are going where. In some ways, as this news hits, a lot of free agency is already solved. So, you know, was there any chance of getting this news out earlier, or what was the timeline like?
We became aware of some issues a couple of weeks ago, and just really rallied the team during Worlds to try to help the teams out and try to help the players out before free agency. So there really was no opportunity to do this earlier.
What are the ramifications of this for the LCS? Because I think a lot of fans are going to hear this, and there's already a lot of doom and gloom out there. You know, what should fans take away from this news?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think this actually strengthens the LCS. We want teams who want to be in esports, who want to be competing in the LCS, who are committed to fielding the best teams that they can. So we feel with this move, we have helped the teams exiting. We have helped the players try to relocate and try to find other teams. And I think next year we're going to have 8 teams in the league who really want to compete.
So why not use the offseason as an opportunity to try to fill these 2 team slots or to create some sort of promotion opportunity for the teams that compete?
Yeah, there's just not enough time, honestly.
Is there
I mean, based off what he said there, could it move to 10 teams in 2025? Once again, it's possible. But given how there's going to be 8 teams, in summer, there won't be an 8 teams making playoffs. They'll just move to obviously 6 teams making the playoffs. That was the worst thing that they could have implemented with some of these new changes is like 8 teams make the playoffs out of a 10-team league when it was just the summer splits.
a consideration, if the only constraint right now is time, is there a consideration to expand the league again next year or create some sort of promotion opportunity?
We are looking at a number of different options for the LCS right now. We will spend the next 2 or 3 months figuring out where we're going with the LCS beyond 2024.
And
you need to, because it's getting really bad for the LCS. I mean, it's been really bad for a long time, and it's crazy how it's all coming down just at this point. But there needs to be a lot more attention and care and understanding about what people are actually watching the LCS for. You know, the LCS is not really that competitive. So unless you're making good content from the actual LCS, what are people really interested in? You know, the big personalities like Bjergsen are gone. Double if I don't know if he's going to be on a team coming up in 2024. Maybe he just goes back into streaming. It's just this is the hole that they put themselves in after all these many years of.
I don't think the org actually need to do content. I think LCS needs to start.
They need better narratives for sure.
They need to start advertising their players and I think they need to go to advertising their players. I don't think they need it like each team needs to individually do content. Sometimes it's just
building up your own brand. Like you would hope the individual teams build up their own brand. Like just being in the LCS is not good enough.
The LCS needs to build their brand as a whole. It's better. It's better if the division does it than the team itself. It's like NFL. NFL teams don't make their own content. It's like, but the NFL does. They make content around the team. It's like you need to have an LCS that goes.
I agree with that.
I think that's the bigger thing. I mean, if teams want to do the content where they do their own content, that's perfectly fine with me. I'm saying the LCS needs to put more.
Because the LCS is only hosting the teams themselves. I mean, that has their own fair share of issues too. But if the teams want to be here and they want to drive hype and interest, and they have to build something of interest in people to want to watch them. Because why would you watch Dig or IMT? So right now, there's going to be Dig, IMT, Team Liquid, Cloud9, Shot by Rebellion, and who else is there? 100 Thieves and who's the
Team Liquid?
C9, Team Liquid, Shot by Rebellion, 100 Thieves, Dig, IMT. Who are the other two? God damn it! Oh, NRG's here. Yeah. Good lord.
You forget the one team that actually
just won a championship too. It's crazy. I forgot that.
Yeah. No, but my thing is, the reason why I say the LCS because they're in the bigger dumpster fire than the team themselves because it's like both of these teams have interest in other games. That's mean if League of Legends, 100 Thieves ain't gonna really cry. I think the one that might cry maybe Dig or Shopify Rebellion because they just got in. But it's like, think about it. It's like the LCS has to do better at bringing in their team. It's like, okay, it's like if these teams don't make content, we have to find a way to make content where we could evolve them. Like you need more was a Mark Z and his was it the double
Blame
show
game?
Blame game, but the one where he does about
that
skit
they were doing.
That
cool.
That Eric Andre, they have to start doing more of that where you go, it's like, all right, let's do like a Hard Knocks, but we go behind the scenes and look at the newly revamped Cloud9. Can this team now with JoJo as how will Cloud9 do as JoJo as the middle lane? Think about it.
I think you're doing. You need the LCS to create the narratives around the team so that they can build content surrounding the LCS.
Because some of these teams need a push to make it content because making content is not easy. It's because you have the equipment, but if you don't have the personality,
it's not even
sometimes
that. Since we know these teams are not really making that much money, it's not even that they can't make it. They can't make it at a consistent rate because they're understaffed too.
Yep.
That's the thing. 100 Thieves, they're all content based, so they have a staff to do it on hand for the most part. But these other orgs don't have that. Now, I'm not saying that's an excuse not to make the content because they always use it. They probably use it as an excuse like, we don't really have the stats, we can't do it. It's like, no, you still have to put out something. You can't just not put out anything. Because how else would you kind of care about them then? I can only see it from a content perspective.
That's when the LCS has to step in and do it themselves. It's like
they started it this year. Remember on the countdown for the next games, they'll be like, "Hey, check this Cloud9 video out on their YouTube channel or something like that." Remember, they just started doing this. They just started this year,
and now they need to keep doing it.
I'll say the broadcast did improve this year. I really like how the broadcast improved. Actually, I'll say that. It's just we need better narratives. I mean, the gameplay it's always going to be the worst region. I mean, we know this. There's nothing you can do to improve that. But You look at something like Brazil. Brazil has bad gameplay too. There's a ton of viewers there. So I believe that if the LCS can get a model similar to what Brazil has, it can work.
And you know
even
the
though
other
it is
issue
bad
is?
gameplay. What happened? Yeah, go ahead.
Like League of Legends is not the only esports like around anymore. Brazil has other esports, but League of Legends will always be top tier. Like it used to be top tier in America. Now you have Valorant. Valorant just taking over.
Valorant's just king right now.
Like because Valorant's king in Brazil too, but the whole it's separate because you have fans of both, but it's like if you know what it is too. And the thing is, LCS needs one clear dominant team that everyone like the fans love. Is you kind of need a Yankees, or in their case, you kind of need a team like Cloud.
Something to what you're saying, and I'll add to that, which is with Brazil. It's not just that Brazil has a lot of viewership because people only really cite the viewership. What are Brazilian fans known for? Their passion. I'm not saying that LCS fans aren't passionate. But the way that translates in viewership is so different compared to how people actually, run their mouths. Because people can be saying one thing, but their actions say another. Not only are Brazilian fans very, very passionate about watching the teams, about caring about the league, they're actually very vocal about their teams in general. Like, they need to generate that enthusiasm, that passion back into the LCS. Back when it was really good as far as, narratives, I would say. And personalities, not gameplay. They need to drive that. The enthusiasm with the LCS has been so just up and down for many years,
Looking at the other regions, should any other teams or other regions be concerned that we could see the number of teams in their leagues go down?
I mean, I think the environment's pretty dynamic right now. I don't want to say never. We are constantly thinking of ways to make our ecosystem better. This is the only move that we're planning to do before year end, but we are constantly looking at different ways that we can make our leagues better.
I think a lot of people are going to be discussing whether or not we saw with the LCS something similar to what we saw in Overwatch League recently, where it was discussed and reported that teams were getting essentially bought back by Activision Blizzard, or they were being paid for this. Is that something you can discuss at this time?
It's a different situation. We simply settled and terminated their partnership agreement. So it's not like we bought back slots that we're going to try to market for other new teams. We just terminated, and now we're just evaluating different options for the future of the LCS. But I should reiterate, we are super committed to North American esports and to the LCS. So the different options we're thinking about are options that are only better for the.
You know what they could do? Bring back those team passes you did in 2019, where it showed who the fans were actually supporting, who the fans actually wanted to spend money on to have their emote of their favorite team that they can flash in game. Because right there, that would show you something, where the fans are going to put their money at, where the fans are going to put their viewership at. Something like that. There's always something good that they could attempt to try again.
The LCS.
So it doesn't sound like there was a monetary transaction where Riot went to these teams and said, like, hey, we will offer you X amount of dollars if you want to exit the league.
We're not disclosing terms.
Okay. So going into next year, obviously this has format implications. Yeah. The league runs around the idea of 10 teams. Now we have 8. What does this mean for next year?
It's also an evaluation. This happened so fast. The team is thinking about what format's going to be best for this next year. We haven't landed that yet, but I think by the end of this year, we'll know.
Oh, so we might not get the same format coming up in 2024. I mean, it has been rumored that they might do the whole winter, spring, summer thing like the LEC. I mean, that might be on the cards. I know that the org owners, it's been rumored that they've been talking about different formats for quite some time, but they couldn't really implement it until like next year due to other factors. Actually, might not be like the LEC format, but a different format might be a nice change of scenery for the LCS too. Something just a little bit different than the standard this. That's going to get a little boring after a while to watch for some people. But then again, I've also made sure I say this too. It only gets boring if the teams are bad. If the teams are actually decently good, you won't really care about the format in general. But then again, that goes into other mindsets people might have about it, honestly.
So between Academy going not completely away, but I think we saw about 8 teams drop their Academy teams this year. We now have 2 teams in the league that.
Oh, let's also not forget this too. The LCS made it mandatory for some of these guys to have Academy teams. They literally just got rid of that this year. Now, factor in how much money they were just wasting in that. Just wasting. Year in after year out. Just wasting money that could have been best served anywhere else. But just in Academy teams, they barely ever gave a fuck about. You factor in how many months and how many years that was investments. All that money just literally open a toilet, piss that shit down a drain.
That have left as well. So if you look at from like league supported player positions, we're down about 50% year over year. Are there any plans or ways that the league is hoping to support talent, especially in this region, now that there's just, quite frankly, a lot less positions for those players to compete in?
Look, I think there's still a lot of opportunity for new players to find homes, to build a career in North America in the LCS. So the NACL is still continuing. There is a pathway there. So I feel like there's still a lot of opportunity. Yes, there are less, but I think we still have a lot of opportunity to offer new players.
Are there any hopes that we'll be able to grow back some of the opportunities that have been lost?
Could be. Again, you know, it's a very dynamic situation right now with the ecosystem at large. So we've got a lot of plans in flight, and we'll see where all that lands. Nothing to announce now.
So just a quick edit here, because as I was packing up, realized I had forgotten to ask John a question that was very important. But there was a little bit of a rumor that maybe multiple teams had accepted this besides EG and Golden Guardians. Obviously, when talking to you just now, I learned that Golden Guardians sort of initiated this process, but how did things flow from there?
Well, first of all, Golden Guardians didn't initiate the process. We were reacting to a situation with both teams. But the way our partnership agreement works is when we offer one team something like terminating and settling out their partnership agreement, we have to offer it to all teams. We did that. We offered it to all 10 teams. Only Evil Geniuses and Golden Guardians accepted our offer. The other 8 teams reaffirmed their commitment to the LCS. So half the teams did not take up the offer. Okay. Only the 2 did.
Only the 2. All right. Thank you very much for the clarification.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, I know I love to have these longer sit downs with you.
Yeah,
clearly, we're standing ahead of finals happening, and so we kind of squeezed this in last minute here. But I am hopeful that we'll be able to chat more as next year comes on the horizon and more things pop up with the LCS.
Pretty sure we'll be chatting in February, March timeframe.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for the interview. Obviously, I will have a lot to talk about on this as everything continues, so folks can stay tuned here. But John, anything you want to say to any of the folks out there, especially the LCS folks who are looking at this news and perhaps being concerned about the future of the league?
I will just keep reiterating, we are committed to the LCS. We are committed to North American esports for League of Legends, and we are only trying to make the league stronger and our presence stronger here in North America.
Thank you so much for the interview. For everyone else,
thank you, Travis.
You can check out the rest of my coverage of all things Worlds, LCS, and more right here on my channel.
That is the situation that is unfolding currently with the LCS. Evil Geniuses ran into the ground by Nicola Point Jameson. Golden State Warriors putting their money, all their money essentially, back into the NBA franchise that they have. I think it's just better overall for them. I mean, I'll ask you this, man. How much money do you think they realistically lost after these years of not winning a title and trying to buy like these other players actually? Because I think, you know, when you're looking at like the Golden State Warriors, is like they're putting in all this money to have all these good basketball players. There's just, you know, not going to be enough money for their League of Legends rosters. This comment might be something that people need to understand. Golden Guardians was always a strange team to be in the LCS, to be honest, and spent so many years at the bottom. They very recently put it together, but if you look back at their history, it's not great. EG really dropped the ball, particularly with the player management. They found the talent, that they put coaches in the right place and then imploded. Without them, we wouldn't have JoJo, but they also destroyed Danny. Good riddance. The LEC system works better with just 8 teams. So we might be going into best of 3s next year. Yeah, with 8 teams, you could just theoretically do best of threes, actually. I wouldn't mind a format like that, actually. Let's see. I imagine there's going to be like massive, crazy overreactions when it comes to like, these teams leaving. As long as at the LCS remains doormats in international play, viewership will continue to decline. In my opinion, League Esports is on a downward trend. 10 years of league play and the champion pool in tournaments is the same pick bans year in, year out. 10 years of stagnation has started to pile up. I wouldn't really say that. There's a lot of things that's just missed right here in this comment for sure. I think LCS viewership is in a free fall because we just don't do well internationally. And I don't think NRG doing well at Worlds this year and somewhat making it top 8 is going to really change that, actually. And yeah, I mean, for John Needham, they can't really discuss legal terms of like what they offered to, or potentially what happened during the negotiation period to, maybe make it happen that Golden Guardians ended up wanting to commit. They wanted to be out of the league. But what do you think, man? This league's going to be so crazy now moving forward.
Yeah.
Things are getting a lot more spicier,
Yep.
No, I want to ask you this earlier on if you heard me, but how much money do you think the Golden State Warriors have realistically lost in these past years after they haven't been winning championships, actually?
For Golden Guardian, maybe 5-10 million.
Oh, no, sorry, I meant for the Warriors, their actual NBA franchise.
Trying to see, because you got Garner ticket sales. I think the year they lost the most money was 2021. That was the year they was on the bottom, in my opinion. I think they lost about roughly 15, 20 million. They lost a good amount because ticket sales weren't high. Plus, all their best players were either injured or not playing. And plus, because I'm not gonna lie, the way I see them was go to guard, they see them as a tax write off. All right, cool. We lose $3 million. We just write that off as an expense. But yeah, go to guard lost some money, and then they got it all back in 2022.
Big money. Imagine that. You pay.
But 2022, they got it all back was winning the championship. That's me. Yeah.
Like for Golden Guardians, we got to factor in if you're having that esports side of it, and it's just a severe money pit, right? Some of the high profile talent they had didn't pay off, but you're paying all the salary, the housing, food, the day-to-day operations. It's just wasted money that could, in theory, just go back into your NBA team that you could just spend on a better few players on that, Like, why waste your money in this when it's not getting you nothing,
Yep.
It's just, I completely see it from their point of view to leave. I mean, they've always been perennially at the bottom anyway. They just only now started hoping to do something. And remember, the year for them, it's so crazy that their final like series ever for League, it ended up getting completely fisted by BDS, actually.
Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you probably saw that, plus you just saw the investment, probably saw all the money that was going on. They're like, do we really need to have this team anymore? And it's like, it's not burning a big hole in our pocket, but
true.
It's like sometimes you just look at it as like, do we need to have those extra expenses? Because that's extra payroll we have to pay these people. It's like we have millions, but you gotta realize the CEOs don't see it like that. He's like, okay, we're wasting this amount of money. Okay, all right, let's just stop. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. It's like because once you start seeing it like that, players are like, we don't really need to spend that extra $4 to $5 million. We're just gonna let it go, and that's what happens. A lot of times they let it go. It's the craziest part.
Oh, and we also have this that happened too, where Licorice tweeted this out because there's players on Golden Guardians that already have new teams. So River is going to be on 100 Thieves.
Yep.
Licorice, I think, still should be a pickup as a top laner for the LCS. Actually,
what team do you think he will go to?
especially over make sure he's in the league over Revenge. I'll riot if Revenge is here over Licorice. What team would he go to? Here specifically? Well, we know Digger keeping what's his name? Rich. Good lord. Yeah, they're keeping Rich.
Yeah.
IMT, do they want to keep Solo?
No, he's gone. Solo's confirmed to be gone.
He could have a spot there. FlyQuest Impact's gone. I forgot maybe who they signed on.
FlyQuest is good. They might sign him because he is American.
He did play on FlyQuest before. It's not.
He is American.
Crazy.
He is American. That's mean they might consider him.
Yeah. Cloud9, they're sticking with Fudge, I guess, right? Team Liquid have Impact again. 100 Thieves have General Sniper.
Yep.
So that really only just leaves NRG unless NRG want to get rid of Dokla for Licorice, and it's like
maybe, but
is that like is that really worth the upgrade, side grade? You know?
Yeah, I'm about to say that's like a ladder remove.
Yeah. So I think they should take a Naru. I think he's been really good at what he's been able to do with these shoestring budgets for rosters that Golden Guardians have been giving him for as many years. So keep a Naru. If he should be involved in a team in some capacity. I think he's good. Licorice. Who else is on the team? Gory, I think it's gonna stay in Korea, honestly. Like it's last year.
I'm not gonna lie. If I'm Gory, I don't.
Gory's looking at this like, cool. I'm already in Korea. Got a chance to play this ghetto best of 5 here in Korea. Hey, Mom, can I get some pancakes?
Pancakes and some mushu and some chicken. They're Koreans, but they.
But dude, guess what? Guess what? With Golden Guardians gone, because this is the only org that would ever tolerate this player. That means Stixay won't have a team for 2024's LCS spring.
Yeah,
no team is taking Stixay, guys. Stixay's been bad for a long time.
Think about it. There might be a world where Stixay and Double are not on teams.
That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Yeah,
it'd be crazy, but not surprising. Honestly, I'll be up for it because these guys are kind of like outdated, in my opinion. Double still has
I know we're talking about like EG and Golden Guardians being committed to the league. Is Double Lift committed to playing at the highest level? The LCS anymore?
Look, part of me says this after this year that part of him he thought it was a good idea to come back. It might have been a good idea at first, and then you realize like, oh shit.
He had that itch I think he had that itch to compete because he was looking at all the other guys still doing it, and when he got back, he was like, yeah, I think it clicked in his head. There's a reason why I left in the first place, Yep. Because I thought those thoughts before. You want to go back because the grass is, you miss it, the good old times. But the good old times for the LCS have not been there for a while, honestly, for being real honest with ourselves here. So it's, God, like Stixay not having a team is not going to surprise me because he's dog shit. He's actually just abysmally bad. My dude is getting outperformed by ADCs any wildcard ADC would have been an upgrade over him for Golden Guardians. Any one of them. Pick one. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter at all. Huhi is going to join NRG. So Huhi and FBI reunion coming up in LCS 2024 spring. I guess, we'll see how that goes. Because when I was always seeing FBI and Huhi play it, like when they were on, they looked pretty good, but you could tell they have two different ideas about how they want to play the game. So I don't know how that's going to be so much different in 2024 for them, Yeah. So for Evil Geniuses, we know Revenge is looking for a team. We also know that Mayonnaise is on IMT. Dude, remember they announced Sheridan. Remember, to be part of their roster. Oh no, guys! It was announced that Sheridan was going to be a part of Evil Genius's starting roster. That's not happening.
The crazy part about it, Revenge was supposed to be on EG.
Yes, the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG podcast is going to be yeah, it should be on Wednesday this week. Should be. Hopefully. I'm so busy right now. I mean, the only day I have off this week is Tuesday. I'm booked this week on stuff.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm still burnt from watching World Sunday morning.
You guys are crazy. I played the stream back. You guys are crazy, actually.
Yeah, I was out of it. I was literally just making shit up. I was like, I'll just talk. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah. I was like, man, yeah. I told her, I was like, honestly, I would go for London, but honestly, I was like, I'm just bullshit.
Yes. Tim, man, don't worry, man. I got you guys covered on Yu-Gi-Oh videos. Don't worry. I have not forgotten about Yu-Gi-Oh at all. There's plenty to discuss in the Yu-Gi-Oh scene. We could be here for hours talking about that.
Oh my god, yeah, no, this shit. You get at a point where I just hope the game dies. Like, no. People say, someone asked me when I come back to Yu-Gi-Oh. I was like, not at this moment. Like, where I have a deck that can
you know how I've felt about Yu-Gi-Oh, man. I do love Yu-Gi-Oh to death. I know Yu-Gi-Oh in the back of my hand for a lot of things. It's just Yu-Gi-Oh gotten to a point where you kind of have to constantly keep power creeping things to keep things interesting while making really OP broken shit to power creep the other really OP broken shit, and that can only get you so far. But they've been doing this for so long to the point where it's like that just has to be the standard now. That just has to be the standard. It can never go back to what it was because this is something that they've been at for years.
Yeah,
at that point, you know.
And the bad part about it is that every time you power creep, son, that shit gets cheaper. But then people get it. It's like, oh, so you got it, but it's like it's not worth it anymore. It's really not worth it. It's like, okay, you got a card that's power crept, but now it's like that's cheap now. It's not expensive anymore, but it's power crept. Like, what are you doing? You are in a situation where you're screwed. You're like, oh fuck, yeah, it is. It's just one of those situations where it's just bad.
Yeah, and the situation surrounding the LCS now is JoJo's going to be on Cloud9, Unforgiven's looking for teams, and Ayla is going to be on 100 Thieves. So most of the players have teams except for Sheridan, Revenge, Unforgiven, and Stixay. And Licorice. So, I mean, someone say, could you make a team out of that? No, that'd be an awful team. That would be a lot. We know these teams are but now that's the thing, man. You can't get a 10th place team now. You could get an 8th place team. If you get 8th place in an 8-man league, you're trash. You're straight garbage. Blow that whole roster up.
I mean, my thing, someone has to be 8th place though.
But no, I'm saying it's gonna look even worse now if you are, because there's less teams here. It's gonna look so bad now. Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
All right. Last thing we're gonna cover today is Rekkles is going to be joining T1's Academy team as a support. He wants to be a support now, and it looks like it's not just really about Rekkles. It's more like some players are realizing, hey, I can't really make it work here. I'm going to go try in the actual good leagues, Take your shot. I'll say that. Happened with Cody's son. I don't know what's happening with him now, but have him try it, If people don't really see the LCS or LEC as viable for competition anymore, go and try out for Korean Academy teams or LCK teams. Remember, Live Sandbox tried to get JoJo, but C9 upped their offer for JoJo, so he obviously chose to stay here. Yamato Cannon at one point was the first Western coach for an Easter team, for Sandbox Gaming, who's obviously now Live Sandbox. So you guys can tell the names there. So yeah, I don't think Rekkles really wants to be a support. I don't know what he really wants to do. This man's. I knew it wasn't gonna work on Fnatic. This fucking relationship they have with Fnatic is so weird and it's disgusting. It's so I don't know. They're just like punishing each other. I don't freaking know.
I think he's trying to survive by any means necessary, and if he has to go to support in order to be a better player because his mechanics at ADC is no longer good, I think he's willing to do it.
Because we saw that this year. Remember, we saw that in spring and winter for the LEC. He just wasn't up to the top competition anymore. And the LEC pool this year wasn't even that good. I mean, all you had is basically Hansama, Karzi, and Crowdy, right? That's all you had, really.
Yeah.
That's all you had, you know? Like, oh, sorry. Well, Doss at some, or not, Exekick. He was good at some point.
Exekick,
you know?
I'll about to say, yeah.
Comp basically fell off the face of the earth from like last year. He just went.
Comp was never good this year. Let's not even act
Upset had its moments, but he never got it together.
Upset had a split in a few games in spring, and that was it for him. Yeah, everybody else was just dog water.
Yeah. I mean, Patrick had his moments, but you know.
No, Patrick was a good Abadagi got there. Like, he was decent, but it was like excellent.
Abadagi quite literally made them all look way better with his gameplay.
He brought him to leadership, and then people say, "Oh, but he got smacked 3 on the final." It was like, honestly,
I mean, with him, you don't. I hate those arguments, dude. You know, because without him, they don't get to finals.
Without him, I don't even think they get to the playoffs. Because think about it, they went 0-3 because the chemistry wasn't there, and then they went 0-4, and then they went 5-4 or 5. They won 5 straight, and it was like because they didn't know, how to work together and realize just let Abadage be.
This guy's told me like, "Yo, let me get a spot,"
and then like a month later, he realized, "Oh, this is bullshit." It was like, yeah, no. I could have told you that it was bullshit. Like,
wow. Good God. I mean, Valorant. If you have in Valorant, if you have a Valorant spot, they literally pay you to be there.
Yeah.
So this is what I think they'll just mostly pivot to, is just running league minimum and just getting that stipend. What's the word? The stipend that they have, or the.
Yeah.
There's an exact word for it. I'm blanking on it right now, but basically the rev share they'll get. They just want to do league minimum to get the rev share, actually. But yeah, Rekkles going to being T1 support in Academy is weird. It's just weird, but put a factor in, he's never going to replace Carrier. That's never going to happen.
No. Well, he's going there to train. I was watching League on Lock earlier. He's going. The only time you're going to see him play is when they decide to give Kyria and maybe Gubayusi a week off. They're going to bring up their academy team because they don't want to, know, it might be the week where T1 goes against Liv Sandbox and Brian. It was like, oh, look, let's put Rekkles in, and it'll be 4 new people and Faker still there, or maybe 4 new people and possibly owner or they use there because it's like, okay. We're already locked up the first seed. Let's just bring in our academy team just to play. Just it's gonna be something like that. Like and after this year was Poby, and there's a big gap, and I ain't say this, but I knew watching the Challenger League in Korea. I'm telling you right now. Most of those Korean players that are in the Challenger League, like when the Menace was there, when Berserker was there, Berserker might have worked on a bottom tier. Like Berserker had the skills, but he would have been one of those ADCs that would have need to take a couple of years to develop. Because the Challenger League is I'll say this. The Challenger League in Korea is still 1 level above the LCS, but it's 3 levels behind that LCK. Like the LCK Challenger League is 3 levels behind the LCK. No, 2 to 3 levels behind the LCK. Is about 3 to 5 levels ahead of the LCS because they train just like. I think the only thing is they do get more time off. You're working out more. Eating healthier, you're doing the same thing like the LCS, but you're playing League 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, sometimes 6, but usually 5. Because I know most of them have Sundays off, some have Saturdays off. Yeah, and that's the thing about it. At the end of the day,
can you ever find that article on Reddit where it was the title was article exposing EG CEO and management. I'm pretty sure that was Richard. Yeah,
I didn't find that.
I'm pretty sure that was Richard Lewis's article about them. But yeah, it was God. I don't know. So I don't know what Evil Geniuses are doing because I don't know how many esports Golden Guardians are in, but Evil Geniuses was in quite a bit, and remember how they made.
Yeah.
So this is why I don't like when people be making all these separate different accounts because you don't know the future because it's always like it's uncertainty of this stuff. Evil Geniuses had a League of Legends Twitter account. They had a CS:GO Twitter account. They had a main Twitter account. Yeah, you're gonna be deactivating those very soon because it's gonna have unless you want to just transition them into whatever. Revenge still has Evil Geniuses in his his Twitter bio. He's a top laner for them. Good lord. So, and people don't understand. TSM is also gone as well. TSM is also out of the LCS. This is going to be a really interesting year, as John put it, to see what's going to end up happening. I'd argue, a different format would be cool, but it's not just that. There just hasn't been really that level of genuine enthusiasm, like being pumped into the LCS, and there's so many ways of doing it, but it has to be a collective effort from everyone to want to improve and get better and make this a sustainable, venture. If a lot of teams feel like they could just basically, pay league minimum and just get the rev share that Riot gives them to potentially be profitable. No, I mean, stacking in a profit on that is going to be good, but if you're not doing anything meaningful in the short term to really grab fans or boost any interest in the LCS, it's going to be the same thing, basically just different year, same bullshit, My God, Sean was there all the time, dude, in the Twitter, all the time on Twitter. He was like, yeah. Good Lord. Sean, he hates EG. Holy crap. EG's official statement was Evil Geniuses will be stepping away from the LCS heading into 2024. We are incredibly grateful to the players, coaches, and staff and fans who have sustained our 4-season tenure in the LCS and who have brought incredible success to the EG name. While we will not be competing in League of Legends going forward, we will continue as fans from afar and are actively working on finding homes or next steps with our current players, combined talent, and staff to see that they have a prosperous future in the League of Legends ecosystem. Yeah, sure you are. Yeah, I bet you are, EG.
Yep.
We will be working on proper goodbyes to the people that have made our LCS legacy possible as we work through these changes. Yeah, how about yeah, okay. All right, okay. Fucking disgusting shit org. God, holy crap. Oh, remember, they also signed another player. Remember, Evie pointed out that they were gonna sign that Surdy guy or whatever.
Yeah.
God, they were out here literally signing people knowing they didn't want to be in the league.
More likely, yeah. And I think Golden Guardian, because they didn't really sign anybody, they were letting people
Golden
go.
Guardian actually did it better. Remember, it was rumored that they paused all operations moving forward after what happened at World.
I think Golden Guardians knew they were coming back. I think EG was the last second thing. I think they thought we could do this, and then they looked back. They were like, they did the they were like, you got Nicole say, oh, we could do this, and then you got the guy who was above Nicole, who like he does like the cutthroat thing where he does the sign across the throat, like nope, cut it, and went out the door. Because I've seen that where the kitchen manager be like, oh, I'm doing this, but then the GM just does the total opposite. I've seen that before, and I think that's what happened was EG. I think they were going to go one direction, and then last second, and I mean this, last freaking second, they went the opposite direction. Because they had it. They had it in a way where,
like, dude, and we're being honest here. Like, there was no way they were ever going to get the respect of any fan, whether I don't care how you lean politically or whatever you choose to do in your personal life. Sometimes they were never ever going to get away from that Danny situation. Once Thorne and Richard Lewis exposed that, they were fucking. It's over for them. Like how in the world?
No, I think even before that. I think even
they had the
before
suspicions.
That.
Well, obviously, yeah, you're right. In other esports, but I'm sorry, I just meant league because we're talking about league here. Yeah. There was no way they were generating any league fans' excitement to be their fans anymore after what they did to Danny. There's nothing you can come back for that. They already lost the CS:GO respect by how shitty they've been in that game. Dota, they've already been they've not only shitty in that, but they treated those players pretty bad. This is burn this over to the ground. Get this out of here, man. And they're out here being fucking, propaganda bullshit, hiring fucking women based off their fucking skin color, gender. She ran the organ.
Most companies do that, and I'm telling you this, conservative companies do that too. But then I think companies do that in general. It's like most people now think it's only one side that does it. No, both sides do it, but one company, like conservative companies or companies that don't have their politics out there, they don't
get Chrissy out of there too. I know Chrissy won them for their VCT. Well, yeah, get her out of there. No, put her on somewhere else better. I know that that guy that they announced for the Valorant roster. Yeah. That guy Zix. He was CLG's head coach for a little bit. He was on 100 Thieves League of Legends roster for as a coach for 2021 spring before Reaper came in. Yeah. It's crazy how like all the high profile talent left. E.g., they completely just eviscerated any chance of them having any fans after the Danny situation for League. Yeah. Dota, they've shit on those fans. No one on Dota likes them anymore. The CS:GO adventures were terrible. Yeah, really bad. The creative. Remember that thing they have on the channel, the Creator Collective? That was a fail. You forget that was a complete fail. They lost the legacy sponsors that the org had, but they burn all it. What match? Yeah. Explosions. Oh God. Like, what do you think? Have you seen a train wreck this big? Actually,
an organization, not this fast. I think
the turnaround of this magnitude was insane.
I know. Trust me. I see the train.
Well, Valorant News Twitter. Oh my God, the Valorant News Twitter posted this earlier today, actually around 2:32 p.m. PST. Evil geniuses are reportedly planning to exit the esports space entirely by the end of 2023.
Who?
Oh, they're just getting out completely.
EG?
Yeah, completely. They want out completely.
Yep, that's not surprising. I mean, it's not surprising because it's like, okay, that's mean they're like, all right, there's no money made here. That's mean this is, like I said, that's what I was saying. This is not a what you call it, a League of Legends. We're not making no money here. We are actively losing money.
We've actually, what this is basically is we've actively destroyed all our esports that we've been in. Fans don't want to support us. Well, I mean, fan support is iffy on just in general, but just to say support, right? We can't get them back. We fucked them over. We fucked our players over. Yeah, get out, burn. Actually, just go and burn.
Yeah.
I just hope the people that did make each successful in Valorant get out. I mean, Zix did. He's back on 100 Thieves. Hopefully, Chrissy gets on to be a good Valorant org. I mean, obviously, just getting the championship alone proves that, right? Hopefully those players get on good teams, man. Yeah, get EG the fuck out of here. Mop them up, boys. Get them up. Mop them up. Let's get that bad org out of here. Fuck EG. That's just what I'll say, Do you think that having an EG jersey would be a souvenir?
It could be.
Could be, The merch never looked bad. Oh, you know what was the beginning of the end for them? Remember when they changed the original crest that they had, the original logo they had? Yeah, just that alone was disgusting. When Nicole changed it to the fucking wording with the lava sink into it, I was like, ew.
I don't think that was bad. It was like, okay. I was like, why would you change that? People like that was the main thing. It was like,
Yeah, everyone knew them from that symbol. It was like their thing. And then just those decisions alone right there are already just, you're like, oh, okay, that's just really odd. You
Yeah.
know? I remember you said the same thing about Koi too. It's like usually when you see situations like that.
Talking about Koi might not exist next year, where they might
Yeah, it's gonna be a
their
new
name to a
spawn,
new
right?
company, or they might go back to Rogue. I think they should just go back to Rogue. Rogue, everything about it was better. You played better, you designed better, you had more money. Koi, it seems like Koi might be embezzling. Honestly,
Shit.
I was like, honestly, that's okay. If it's like that, all right, move.
Yeah, the rumor is going to be called Infinite Reality, which is the investment company, which is the company that owned Koi. I would just say go back to being Rogue. I never got. I agree with you last year and this year too. It's like, why did they ever change the name? It's just unnecessary changes for no reason. Nothing, right? They changed to Koi. Rogue already had a brand in the LEC. People had passion for them to the point where they were always disappointed that they lost in finals, where they were the chokers in the finals, right? They changed their YouTube channel over to being Koi. Just go back to Rogue, man. I asked you, actually, what was the point of changing it to begin with? They already had a brand. They already had built whatever they wanted out of it. They already had good social media interaction. Like, some of these people coming in just do the most dumbest shit ever. But yeah, anything else you want to say, man, before we head out of here? Actually, good episode. Pretty good job.
I was initially surprised by Golden Guards, but now it all makes sense. It makes sense because of, I keep forgetting some of these teams that are owned
by other sports entities.
By NBA teams. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's why I was always skeptical about NBA teams investing. Is that people understand if you don't get results from these people, they think this ain't like esports where you can go 5-6 years and do fuck all. That only work over here. That's not going to work over there. You know, like things are so much more different for them. And wait, Faker's out of his contract? No way.
They might re-sign him to a new contract.
They're going to re-sign him. There's no, he will be re-signed. Oh, for T1 fans out there, the original head coach with Faker, the Faker Coma duo, is getting reunited. Coma is back on SK Telecom.
Yep.
That's a buff in levels that I can't even fathom in my brain. The guy that originally helped them get 3 titles and almost got them a 4th is back. The guy that got Damwon almost a title is back. Because remember he was the head coach of Damwon before.
Yeah.
Did T1 just get a buff? T1 that's a huge buff right there. People are like, oh, come on, he's not that good. The fucking coach that won 3 world championships. And we know he had a big impact on it because of just by how much Faker talks about how much of impact Coma really had on his career. No, that's a big buff. Getting their original head coach back, who knows Faker better than anyone on the planet. Come on. That's just like, that's such a huge buff for them, honestly. Yeah. I was surprised he initially left, too. I was just surprised. I was like, you think he's the guy that just stay there forever with Faker, honestly. But I guess he didn't like how they were going to go about things,
Yeah,
at a single point.
You leave, and then you leave for a bit.
Yeah, I've seen that before, too. Legacy people leave, and they just come back for a bit. Or they come back because they, it's always the grass is greener on the other side kind of thing.
Exactly.
Well, any plans for your content coming up soon?
At the moment, I'm just taking a day at a time.
Oh, your favorite player, the Shy, is considering a break from pro play after disappointing World Finals against T1.
I mean, it's disappointing, but honestly, they should have their held up. I ain't nobody expect you to get this far. Let's be honest. They're like this.
I'm saying everything I'm saying. They were a bad team. They way more.
They were a surprising team. They were. Yeah. I'm not gonna say they were a bad team because they were a surprising team because I've always felt like this team, they never put 100% effort into anything. until they got to Worlds, and then they started playing to a certain degree. Like to me, the top 4 teams like were the first 3 plus top. I felt like top esports and EDG were better than LNG and Weibo. LNG was good, but when they made mistakes, it was just so.
Yeah, he said that in the post game. You know how they have that little conference interview they do after big matches like that. He said that as a question to Ashley Kane, where he said, to be honest, my arm injury has been doing well. I'm good to play. I believe that the condition of my health is good enough to play. However, I do not think it will be bad to take a break either. So I will spend a bit of time considering my next options. I think he'll continue to play. And the reason why I say that is because when these guys, mostly when these guys have a break from the season, because the season's very long and very grindy.
Yeah.
They get a like, oh, I want to play. I want to compete. Like after not having league for quite some time for these guys, they want to. That's why I think people try hard in spring sometimes when they come back, is because they haven't had it in so long. The last time you remember you either lost or won. You looked at the last World Championship. You're like, man, you know what? I could be there. That's why I think. I think after enough time, I think after a break, he'll be back just fine. Honestly,
hopefully.
I mean, I hope. Not having him in the league would be crazy.
Yeah.
So talking about what league did you do? Market watch soon because I gotta. I've been having sex with my wife, so I can't be having market watches.
Okay.
I'll thank you for your support, bastard. Good Lord.
Who you have sex with?
Huh.
It ain't Lennon.
I'm good. I have standards. I touch that bitch.
Yeah, I'm touching her.
No. Did I say you could touch her?
Shit, motherfucker! I don't need your goddamn permission, nigga.
Did I say you could have her?
She's having these nuts for
God.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
T1 celebrating their championship merch. It's basically just a white shirt with a gold thimble on it. Really?
It's cheap, man. But it's like, hey, the sad part about it, motherfuckers will buy anything at this point.
Yeah, that's true. That is 100% true. Their jerseys sell out so fast, honestly.
Yep.
Yeah, everything is sold out from these guys. Yep, even like old jerseys from like 2021 are gone. Yeah, jerseys that were like $37, they just wanted to get rid of. Sold out. Everything's sold out. Jackets, uniforms. Yeah, everything is sold out. Holy fuck, dude. What is with these teams? Is this like the Chicago Bulls of fucking like league or something?
That happens when a team wins. Their shit gets like
they get so many fans. Oh
Yankees 2009 when they won the World Series. I had to have shit on man, I had to pre-order shit just in case, because if the team didn't win, it was like, okay, my order gets canceled. But if the team does win and I choose not to get it, this shit's bought out.
See you later, Justin. Have a good night, man.
Yeah, there's motherfuckers that buy that shit out within an hour. Like, there's motherfuckers that wait till that shit is like, okay. 1 hour later, oh, Yankees won the World Series. Motherfucker got that shit. Click it. They click, re-click. Refresh. They making sure they get these motherfucking orders in. They're not trying to get caught slipping.
Yeah, that Gen G day fucked me over. Well, I was gonna buy Gen G's World jersey. I was gonna PayPal paying for it. The first day I was waiting. Got there. They're like, oh, we messed up. Come back this day. I came back to that day. I clicked my button. I was like, wait, it's the day. I'll be ready. I missed it. Completely missed it because I've missed the time. It's supposed to be at 8 PST. I came at 8:30.
Oh yeah, that's too late, man. That's 30
minutes
too late.
They'll sell out. They'll sell out instantly. They sell out.
Yeah, that's like when a girl tells you to come at 8 o'clock and then you come at 8:30. She get her back blown out by somebody else. It's like, dude, she wasn't really waiting for you. She was waiting for the first dick to come in. Yeah, man, that's the crazy part about it. It's like, shit. Trust me, I've been in those situations. Missed tickets for something, or that's the same thing with Pokemon. The Pokemon sign must be so crazy. Like I was, oh man, yep. But yeah,
You got any plans for any kind of content coming up soon that people can be excited for? Or you're just still doing your thing?
I'm just still doing my thing. I was supposed to have some stuff coming up, but man, my fucking webcam just started to go blurry, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a break from doing pack. Hope till I get a new webcam. That like, what kind of webcam can I get that won't like go blurry on me? Because this shit was just.
Did you have the one that I have? The one I have is the one I sent to adjusting, but in that link, that's the one I have. It can't. I don't know about record. I mean, I think it has a mic on it. I don't think it's the best mic, but it records decently well.
Like
Logitech, webcam. Let me see.
Yeah, because I got a Logitech. It's kind of old, but it's like I need something that's actually because I got an actual webcam. The one that had the light, but it was bad because it glared. It was glaring on the cars, and you would not see the cars as well. It's like, oh, okay, I got one with the light attached around it, but then the light will have the glare. I have to have a sun. It was like it's good if it's a face cam. Looking at me.
I know you do PayPal Pay in 4s.
Yeah.
You know how I have to get this on Amazon? Just type this series into eBay if you ever want to get one from there or Amazon. I'll just drop the link in here. This is the one that I use, so hopefully that's gonna work.
Yeah, cause that's the thing I'm looking for. It's like I just
Lennon has a really good one. She has the one that cost like $165. I was like, girl, let me suck you off to get this.
Jesus, I was like, God damn, shit, man.
Her webcam is really nice. She bought it at the time for it was when you were doing school like through webcam or whatever.
Yeah.
That was when let's see, who's this guy? Okay.
That's the one I got now.
This one you have now?
Yeah.
Really? You have the same one I do?
Yep. It might not be 920S.
Oh, that might be something in your computer with how the contrast is potentially.
Okay, because
have you tried tinkering with the actual webcam settings itself?
Nah, that might be it.
Try that first. See how that gets.
Yeah, because I looked, I was like, I got this shit a couple of years ago when, like.
Yeah, that can't be bad. There's no way, unless you were sitting on it or throwing it out, unless you were punching it or something.
Like it is 8 HD 1080p. Let me. I'm not sure if it is. Yes, I gotta see the specs, but yeah, this is. Yep, yeah, that's the same one I got. Yeah, I had this back in like 2020. This is the webcam you told me to get back then. You remember?
Yeah, it served well. It wasn't like it was a bad product.
Well. That's why
check the actual settings itself. Check that first.
Okay, do I check it on?
I've never actually did it before. I'll have to go and see. Let me see. The actual webcam settings. I can't check them in here. I don't want to tinker with anything in here. Touch up my appearance. What's that? I'm tinkering with this right now. Oh, wow. Do I look better here? Oh, there we go. Touch my appearance. Okay, so now I look way more whiter. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for your continued support. You guys are amazing. I have plenty of videos coming out. I literally just finished editing a video as we were doing this show. I'm gonna be, I can't reveal it yet, but I do have those League of Legends videos planned, and I have other Yu-Gi-Oh videos planned. I have a ton of videos planned for you guys. Don't worry, there is content coming. It's getting recorded, it's getting edited, and it's rendering. It's gonna come out, and I'm gonna be working on building up the episodes of the Iron Man podcast in my backup YouTube account, so I can upload them there, so I can just download them to put them out on the podcasting platforms. But thank you guys for coming out and watching this episode. Remember, the esports winter is fully here, and teams are making some harsh decisions surrounding the League of Legends esports scene. It's getting really bad out there. I mean, we literally probably hit the last brunt of it right here, which is the LCS in 2024 will be a 10-team league, you know? So there's going to be a lot of consolidation. There's going to be a lot of harsh decisions made, but, you know, hopefully this could lead into a better, more sustainable system. And the only way to really get that is through many means, but we need that to happen, you know? But thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Cloud9 podcast. So since we did this extra one, we won't need to do the final episode in December. We can just do it the week before, and that'll hit 200 episodes, actually. It should be able to happen that way. And that 200 episode special is going to be, I don't know if that'll be exactly League of Legends focused. It'll probably be just a bunch of us here just chilling, having a good time. But we'll see you guys later. Have a great Thanksgiving coming up. Happy holidays. And Black Friday is also coming up. So make sure be safe, be great, be productive, and happy holidays, everybody. I'm MSK, Master Swag King. We're signing out, guys.